important thing that you should know ahead of this weekend's Hungarian Grand Prix. The track has been partially resurfaced, and this can cause more havoc than you might think. Now you might be thinking, a newly resurfaced track, that's great, more grip, but this isn't always immediately the case, because it can actually produce the opposite effect of low grip, slips and slides, and really high tyre degradation. The newly resurfaced track is fresh, but there's been little to no rubber that's been laid down on it, so nothing for the tyres to really stick to, and this is where we see slips and slides and slow lap times. But we're also here track evolution. Now track evolution is essentially when, as we get through the weekend, as more rubber gets laid down on the track, lap times do improve. They become quicker because the tyres have got more to grip onto. The mixture of the asphalt is really important here. We have a layer of asphalt, and then this is topped by a mixture of stones and gravel, and then we have a layer of bitumen that seals the surface together, and this is what provides that smooth and durable surface. But with these materials, oil from the bitumen do actually come up to the surface, and over time they do get wiped away. But where there hasn't been a lot of time between the track resurfacing and the track running, these oils do contribute to the low grip. For the Hungaroring, since the track has been resurfaced, we've only seen GT racing. When it comes to bad track resurfacing, Turkey 2020 definitely comes to mind. Drivers were struggling, lap times were really poor, and that's because the surface was actually a bit too smooth, but also the track had only been resurfaced 2 weeks prior to the Grand Prix, so the oils, they hadn't worked themselves out of the surface yet. The cold temperatures and the rain also meant that it was really hard to get the tyre temperature and the energy into those tyres, so the cold tyres on an already slippery surface made it like an ice rink. And then when rain falls on a fresh track, it actually draws out the oil and it sits on top of that surface, impacting the grip levels. Now on older tracks, it's not so much of a problem because the bitumen and the oil, it does break away eventually, especially in hotter weather. But it's worth noting that for the Hungarian Grand Prix on Sunday, it's likely to rain. And if that wasn't enough, a new track surface can lead to graining. So what this means is that when the tyres are slipping and sliding, the inner part of the tyre, the carcass, is colder than the outside part of it, the actual surface, and the rubber starts to break away. And when it breaks away, it actually sticks back onto the tyre, and that's what graining is. So it leads to an uneven surface and low grip. For the Hungaroring, we have seen partial track resurfacing. So we've seen 860 tons of a bitumen-based material laid down on the start-finish straight, but then also the pit lane. And this does cause inconsistencies when it's partial resurfacing, because it leads to inconsistencies around the track itself in terms of tyre data, degradation, the overall car behaviours. The track material itself is also darker. So with the hot weather, this leads to an increase in thermal degradation. So one thing's for sure is that after Friday free practice, the teams will definitely be assessing the tyres and their behaviours to see how to continue on for the rest of the weekend. So now you know more about track resurfacing, and I'll see you for my next F1 classroom.